This is the heart of the swarm, and this is Zero in the upper left starting position as we are on Akilon Wastes, not to be confused with Akilon Flats. And here is Jangbi starting in the bottom right position as our blue Protoss. So, PVZ on Akilon Wastes. Let's talk about the different possibilities, and as mentioned, probably not going to see any early change because this is more for the fans. They want to show what the new units can do in Heart of the Swarm. What might we expect from perhaps guys trying to show new units?
Oh, I would almost expect Jangbi to go for a Stargate. That's such a common opener nowadays in Starcraft. Even in Heart of the Swarm, it's still an excellent option against Zerg players. And the thing is, you can also go with the early Oracle nowadays. You can be a little bit more aggressive with the Mothership Core and send that out with your initial Zealot and Stalker and do a little bit of poking if you want. So I think the beginning of the game should be quite standard from the Protoss side, but the Zerg, we could see some other kind of potential timing attacks come from them, maybe some early Swarm hosts. Mutalisks are very good in this matchup now due to the fact that they regenerate and move faster, so we could see either of those things come from Zero.
And Zero is going with a pool first. I believe that was on 15. So sometimes you'll see the hatch first, more typically perhaps in a PVZ. He is indeed going pool first, and are we going to see a pylon or not? Indeed we are.
Yep, that pylon block is going to delay Zero a little bit. He may be forced to take his third base with that drone, or, send another drone down to the natural to see if he's going to cancel that natural one or not. So a little bit more harassment here from Jangbi, and he is going to be able to get down that hatchery.
So Zero going to his third base for his initial expansion. It's going to be obviously much more difficult to defend, but he's got to get that up. And certainly some friendly banter that we are getting from these guys. I'm not going to be able to translate this up to speed perfectly, unfortunately, but certainly you can tell by their expressions on the bottom of the screen there that it is all smiles. It is a little bit of friendly banter between them as they kind of jab at each other during this match.
So it looks like Zero, he did make some Zerglings to kill that pylon at his natural. This is really nice for the Protoss when you can force the Zerg to take their third base instead of their natural, because essentially they're saying, alright, I'm going to play a macro game, I'm going to let you know that it's really impractical to get your third base and then still try to do a two base all-in. It's just, the Protoss player will know if you try to pull something crazy like that. So essentially what you're saying is, alright, I'm going to play a macro game this game, you don't have to worry about any type of early all-ins from me.
Second assimilator up right now for Jangbi. Interestingly, he wasn't actually mining from his first when the second one was being built. And would you say that as a Protoss you should always pylon block at the natural, or what are the reasons?
Well, there's a few different reasons the pylon block or not. Generally, if you can build your Nexus and then your Forge and still get the pylon block off, go for it 100% of the time. But if you're not able to keep that probe aligned long enough before you get that Forge down after the Nexus, you still need to hit that sweet timing where the Forge goes down and the cannon finishes in time. Or the Zerg player, he can just make some Zerglings and send them to your natural immediately.
Cybernetics core is now complete, and warp gates on the way for Jangbi.
Maybe we'll see, okay, there's the Stargate, something that is pretty standard from Protoss nowadays, definitely something that wouldn't surprise the average Zerg player, and I think we may see a Zealot Stalker poke with potentially a Mothership Core. We'll have to see if Jangbi decides to move out with those units or not.
And certainly when we look at Heart of the Swarm compared to Wings of Liberty, Protoss gaining so many more air options than in past. Of course, there's the Sky Toss nickname being tossed around, but certainly a lot of gameplay and the metagame is going to be affected, especially in the PVZ matchup. We're certainly going to take a look at some of those options here today.
Yep, so we do have a Phoenix on the way. Jangbi, he could make a good amount of Phoenixes, do some harassment, and then continue with that air style, get another Stargate down, make some Void Rays. We've seen that in the previous matches, in the special. Also, some other tournaments have been displaying that as well. It looks like Jangbi wants to take a very fast third.
Setting up Cannon at his third to defend. Zerglings out, no speed just yet as they're chasing down the Stalkers. Good micro by Jangbi to keep both alive, not really eating into the hit points of those Stalkers beyond the shields. And there is the third base for Jangbi on its way as he continues to move on. By the way, Zero currently supply blocked right now as well.
Yeah, he is supply blocked. I think maybe one of the Phoenixes were able to snag an Overlord. And there are a few Phoenix out right now for Jangbi, so he's going to be moving around the map trying to, get that air dominance, make all the Overlords go home, force the Spore Crawlers from Zero as well.
Spore Crawler just complete at the main for Zero. Zerglings on their way. Speed upgrade is about halfway complete as he works on his Infestors coming up as well. Infestor Mound coming.
Yep, that's what it looks like. I think we're going to see Swarm Hosts. That is definitely something that you can see here because, it's a special show match. It's a new Heart of the Swarm unit. What better way to entertain the viewers than bring in a new unit?
Yeah, one of the combinations as I've been playing recently, I certainly like using the Swarm Host with the Hydralisk and an Overseer option. And is he going to get the Queen? Not quite! Does get the Queen. A nice advantage there for Jangbi.
Yeah, and it looks like we do see the upgrade for the Swarm Host. That upgrade is going to allow the Swarm Host units to last longer and deal more damage over a longer period of time because of that increased lifespan. So, interesting. We also have Overlord speed being researched. Maybe you can see some drops in the future, but more harassment continuing from these Phoenix. He just wants to keep this Queen count down.
Does take another Queen out, put another one in the favor of Jangbi, who clearly is taking map control in this matchup. Early on, he got the pylon block that he wanted, and he has been able to play essentially very comfortably up until this point. He hasn't had to deal with any sort of major harassment, and he's got map dominance.
Yeah, the map dominance is absolutely great from him. And the thing is, Jangbi got away with an early third, while Zero hasn't bothered to take his fourth yet, and he's continuing on trying to snipe off these Queens, and he doesn't want there to be a critical mass of Queens to help support those Swarm Hosts when he goes for an eventual attack.
Here are the Swarm Hosts. Observer is there. Does not have any support for that just yet, and these Swarm Hosts are great units, but when you don't have the support for them, with the Observer there, they're not the greatest of units to have. Being picked up easily by this Phoenixes, and another Swarm Host goes down. That's two, perhaps a third one going down here. 4 Queens coming over to support. Trying to chase the Observer away. His Overseer's just being developed now, though. Still can't spot that Observer, but certainly Zero trying to take the aggressive here as he moves over to the front door, knock-in with those Swarm Hosts.
All right, so looks like the speed for the Overlords. He wanted to get the creep all the way up to Jangbi's natural. He wants to continuously assault this area and kind of keep Jangbi on the ropes here. The Spire also recently completed, so we could potentially see some Corruptors or some Mutalisks as well to kind of help support these Swarm Hosts. But at this point, we've seen enough Swarm Hosts get created that Jangbi can't easily deal with this.
And Zero is definitely committing to these Swarm Hosts as he's got about 12 of them there at the front door. He's got the Overseer and the Queens to defend for them as well. And look at these Locusts coming from everywhere, taking down 2 gateways already, perhaps a third. How is Jangbi going to deal with this? He took the early lead, but can he defend against this right now as they're penetrating into his third?
It looks like we're going to see Jangbi attempt to do a little bit of a mini counterattack with Zealots. He is known for doing things like this, very common in his play, and we do have this Corruptors on the way. That's going to make the Colossus and Void Rays, which can deal with the Swarm Hosts, less efficient.
And asking, hey Jangbi, are you asleep? Jangbi might be asking that question back as he's taken down perhaps this expansion with the Zealots. He's got him more than halfway down. Queen there, trying to do the best it can. There goes the hatchery. The expansion is down for Zero. But Zero pushing in, trying to take down that third of Jangbi's lot of Locusts coming in, pouring through. There is a Colossus there, though, as trying to rub it out, and the Nexus is going to go down. There it goes. Both players taking out an expansion each, and this is going to be a fun match.
All right, so right now, Jangbi, he's forced in this position. He needs to deal with these swarm hosts now, before too many corruptors are out on the field and can easily snipe down these Void Rays and Colossus. If he just continuously, tries to kite against these Locusts and just deal with them as they come, he's just eventually going to run out of units.
3 spores. Oh boy, not even 3. It's a ton of spores. He's got some on the other side as well. He's probably got about 5 or 6 spores there to protect, not allowing the observer to get in to see those swarm hosts. This is going to be very difficult for Jangbi to deal with. Swarm hosts taking down the Nexus, and Jangbi cannot get his third back up as these swarm hosts are taking down the probes one by one. I don't know if there's much more that he's going to be able to do. We'll see if he can find an answer for this.
I think at this point, Jangbi needs to just maneuver, navigate around these swarm hosts. He needs to go directly for Zero's base and force him to unburrow those swarm hosts and bring him back to try to defend his base. He needs to force his opponent to move more. Otherwise, this force here, look at how many corruptors there are.
Here come the corruptors. They're targeting down the Void. Right down goes one of them, being chased back by the Stalkers. And a little bit of kiting going on here, back and forth action. Corruptors coming back in again.
Oh, the Observer gets sniped there. That's something that Jangbi did not want to lose. With those Spore Crawlers providing the detection, it's going to be very hard with the support of the Corruptors as well to actually be able to see, detect, and kill those Swarm Hosts.
Jangbi trying to recreate his third over on the other side. Doing the best he can to protect. This should do it for the time being based on the Colossi being there. And now he's trying to do some harassment of his own. Is he going to get the Queen? This might not be enough just yet, and it's not indeed. And a couple of hatcheries being added by Zero as well, as he's really pushing to the front door, perhaps making a statement as well. Look at all those Spore Crawlers. And interestingly, he's not just repositioning the ones he's already got. He's just creating new ones.
Yeah, I mean, just the problem is Zero, he keeps creating more and more Corruptors.
Nice blink up ahead.
We have a warp in here at the main base. Is it going to be able to do enough damage? I'm not sure. Even if the Zealots can snipe that lair, there's still so many units at Jangbi's natural.
Going after the lair right now are the pack of Zealots. Jangbi still trying to defend the best he can. Zero does not have anything at his base at all to defend against this. The lair indeed does go down, and so will the hatchery as well. Is he going to be able to pull this off?
If Jangbi can somehow break through these defenses here, there is a very small chance he could win. It's essentially, he's an all-in essentially at this point round. It's all in ever. He is breaking through those Spore Crawlers there, and the Corruptors, where are they? They need to help support those Swarm Hosts.
The Corruptors actually went all the way back. This might be GG here, and the Swarm Hosts are being forced to retreat. Nice blink forward by Jangbi going after the Swarm Host. Queens go down as well. This could very well be it, as the Zealots go into the natural as well. One Swarm Host gets back to try to help defend, trying to push them back as the Corruptors return to the front line, trying to push those Colossi back.
I'm not sure what we're seeing here. Could we see a comeback akin to the one that Jangbi did against Zero back in the Brood War days? It's a similar situation where Jangbi is pretty much pushed back into a corner and in a very bad position, but he's still fighting. He's not giving up. He's getting small victories here and there. He's completely killed all the units in Zero's main base. And these Corruptors, there's not many left to deal with the Colossus.
Jangbi has his third up, whereas Zero has lost his main. Plenty of Zealots there, and continuing to harass at his natural. His natural not mining at all. He's basically mining on 2 bases right now, but he still does have Jangbi under siege somewhat. The only thing he can really attack with are those Zealots, because the Colossi and the Stalkers are forced to defend. These are the only forces that he have to attack with, but they've been effective so far.
They've been very, very effective. I think Jangbi, he doesn't have an observer in his army. He needs that observer if he wants to kill the swarm hosts here, and he's continuing to harass Zero's main base. And Zero, look at how much money he has. He has over 3k minerals and 1k gas, but he can't build any units because he has no building structures.
And continuing to pressure with those swarm hosts, as that is all he actually have. He doesn't even have the spine crawlers left at his expansion, as the Zealots were able to take those out. Continuing to take out the spore crawlers, and one last raptor there that's going to be taken down. It looks like Jangbi should be able to bust through this. And look at all that money. 4,000 minerals left for Zero. I don't know if we've ever seen someone type in GG with 4,000 minerals left and essentially 15,000 gas. He's moving into the main, though, although he's not going to have any of those swarm hosts protected. There's the dance going on from the Stalkers, doing it Gangnam style, as the swarm hosts are easily going to be taken out. And as they are, we're going to see a GG with 5,000 minerals and over 1,500 gas. What a game by Jangbi, able to somehow pull this one off.
I can't believe he came back. It looks like he was completely dead. Zero had complete control over the entire game. I am 100% sure Zero got really cocky and overconfident and was like, I've got this game won. I killed this guy's third. He has no response to these units. But Jangbi, he was able to take the other third base. He kept holding on, and he just got enough units. He did so much amazing harassment with the War Prism as well. That, I think, that plus his tenacity to stay in the game allowed him to take this victory over Zero.
And he certainly had a lot of patience, which can be so important in this game, using the Colossi at the back, not overcommitting. He made sure that he wasn't out, gave himself a chance, and then he moved in with the Zealots to be able to finish it off. The game is done there as Zero is out. Jangbi is going to take the first game of this quarterfinal matchup between the people who don't understand StarCraft too well versus the CJ Stars. Obviously, Jangbi understood what to do there, despite the fact that he was really pushed back against the ropes by those swarm hosts with the Queen's spores. It really looked pretty brave. He lost his third, but somehow he was able to pull that off.
Yeah, that was it was the combination of the War Prism harassment, not being too shaken, just taking that third and getting a huge stalker count, and just, slowly, poking and prodding, doing damage, getting little victories here and there. That's what allowed Jangbi to eventually come back and win that game. And Zero, he never really bothered to take a fourth base. He just kind of got too comfortable, and he got too overconfident.
Yeah, sometimes when you're ahead